Laura and I have worked together this semester to on our project design presentation. And so I created a PowerPoint, and so I'm going to be going over that PowerPoint along with some excerpts from the paper that I gave her and that was created for this assignment. Okay, so the background of this project is UAHT itself. Okay, and in 1965, that's when everything started. UAHT, you know a lot of this history, but it was open for business there, and it was on 72 acres. And it has gone through a lot of changes, additions, name changes. But in 1996, what was Red River Vocational or Technical College now became the University of Arkansas Hope Texarkana Community College. So also in 2012, UAHT opened up a 22-acre facility in Texarkana, which has provided a lot more classes for Texarkana and sometimes Hope students. So right now, because of the growth of UAHT, we now offer 40 or more than 40 degree and certificate programs for students. All right, so when Laura and I got together, we did a SWOT analysis and a needs assessment. And what we came up with, for the strengths, there's a lot of strengths of UAHT. We have a strong, innovative team, all of us. We have a collective mission of helping students. We have a willingness to take risks, especially our chancellor. Okay? And so, but in that, we also have a couple of weaknesses, okay? And those are that we have some financial constraints that we have to look at. Sometimes it's hard to find academically qualified faculty for some specialty areas especially. And there are sometimes problems with faculty retention, and there is maybe a lack of incentivization for faculty. But with that said, there's a lot of opportunities for UAHT as well. We have growth, a lot more student enrollment, especially with HAPS and the concurrent students. We're in really good fiscal shape, according to you, and we have new and innovative programs that are coming, and a lot of future positive things going on. But in that, there are some threats, okay? Obviously, Hope, Arkansas is a low socioeconomic area, as we mentioned, and due to some recent changes with some of our partners and everything, that possibly there may be some decreases in enrollment, and there may be other various issues for that. Also, the Board of Trustees, sometimes they make some sweeping changes, and it affects all of the community colleges, and we can't really control that. So, but in doing this SWOT analysis with Laura, I found that I was able to define the focus and the purpose of this project. All right, so the purpose of this project is to address retention and faculty performance issues and their involvement, and to investigate how it affects higher education industry nationally. So an additional purpose is to recommend possible solutions to these issues, and more precisely, faculty motivation and employee job retention issues at UAHT, which is the principal concentration of this project. Okay, so the problems that I identified at UAHT is faculty turnover and lack of faculty involvement. So low faculty retention issues, they lead to lower faculty involvement and lower performance within our staff. So this cycle of retention is really a prominent issue given that UAHT offers an extensive amount of degree programs and we need a lot of faculty. So, and the expectation of UAHT is to provide students with the courses needed to graduate. But this is not going to be able to be accomplished if there's fewer qualified faculty. Okay. So, according to a study done by Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, faculty members generally stay employed at community colleges around 11 years. Okay, which means that administration is going to have to continually replace a good portion of its faculty pretty often. Unfortunately, high faculty turnover can have some negative effects on your graduation rates, on the faculty themselves, and on UAHT's financial structure. Overall, low retention rates create a cycle of negative consequences upon existing faculty, students, and the college as a whole. And this cycle kind of perpetuates itself, okay? And it results in the inability for UAHT to recognize its organizational goals, okay? And when I did the study, the research methods and the procedures that I noted that are going to be on the next slide are going to focus on the ways that faculty may be incentivized to stay and to become more involved, and which will facilitate a better job satisfaction in order to stay employed for longer periods. So what I used when I did this survey, we kind of worked together on this, and I used a Likert scale, and it was an anonymous, and it was for all full-time faculty. I used both quantitative and qualitative. The Likert scale went from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And there was a free-form comment section that I'm so grateful that you put in. Okay, so the survey questions that were asked, there were 10 of them, okay? And they ranged from how long I've been employed to whether my work is fulfilling to me, and basically some faculty involvement questions, and about non-monetary incentives, because you mentioned that is something that is needed here, okay? And it also addressed whether faculty sees themselves here in the near future, in the foreseeable future. So of the respondents, there are 45 members of faculty, 32 of the members of faculty responded, which was awesome. That was 70%. Of these respondents, 60% have worked for UAHT for less than 5 years. 10% have worked for UAHT for over 5 years, 10% over 10 years, and 5% over 15 years. As far as work fulfillment, the majority of full-time faculty that have been at UAHT under 5 years agree that work is very fulfilling to them. Interesting, though, with the exception of one respondent, this fulfillment seems to increase, actually, after the 5-year mark. As far as faculty involvement, most members of faculty agree that community involvement for organizations and working on projects like within the community or for the betterment of the college is a very important endeavor. As a whole, the vast majority of faculty would enjoy participation in these types of organizations and extracurricular projects if required organizations or dues were paid for that, or if they received compensatory time off. Okay. As far as faculty recognition, in terms of recognition from administration for higher work performance or for taking on extra job responsibilities, recognition meant the most to faculty who had been here for the shortest time. From the study, faculty did not desire to be greatly distinguished from each other. I think that may have created within them a division, and they did not like that. So while recognition did seem to be a factor that did please faculty, it did not seem to be always the primary reason why they did what they do. So when they go above and beyond their normal duties, it's not necessarily for recognition. It's because they like to do it. Okay. So as far as incentivization, interestingly, some faculty did mention incentives such as recognition, such as Employee of the Month, or their parking space, or maybe a public acknowledgement at a catered dinner. But across the board, actually, the highest factor that UHT faculty would take on extra job responsibilities was a reward of flexible office time. Okay. According to both survey and comments, the most sought-after incentive was flexible work schedules, fewer office hours, compensatory time for community service, or having a 4-day work week. Now, there were some alarms that I wanted to bring up. Okay. And since this study was done about faculty retention, obviously these need to be brought up. Okay. And I always want to preface this by saying we're going to try to stay positive about this because improvements can be made. So as far as future service, one of the more noteworthy findings from the study was that newer faculty, especially those between 2 and 5 years of being here, experience an 11% drop in job fulfillment after their first 2 years at UAHT. Generally, between the 1st and 5th year of service, faculty saw UHT as their foreseeable home for the future, though. So that was encouraging. After 5 years of service, faculty begins to become more undecided about staying or not staying at UAHT. Between the 5th and 10th year of their service, faculty tended to not see UHT as their future place of employment as readily